Hello everyone, in today's video I want to talk about why contactless pay and tap to pay will not work in Nigeria right now as we speak. Now don't get me wrong here, I am a fan of contactless pay and everything. I would love to see this thing being adopted in Nigeria massively. I would love to see it, but in as much as this is a good thing, I see this thing as a very futuristic thing in my opinion that I think is super cool. But let's be realistic. In Nigeria, do you see anyone doing it? No. So let me give you my reasons why I don't see contactless pay working in Nigeria right now. Now, first of all, let's start by defining what contactless pay is. Now, contactless pay is when payment is made without using a debit card, bank transfer, USSD, and so on. It's just you getting a device like your smartphone, and from there, payment is being transferred from one device to another by just being near like this, like boom, from there, payment is made. Now, if you go to countries like the US, they have contactless pay platforms such as Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, where you do not need to use your debit card to make payments. If you go to a supermarket, for example, what you just do is this. You get your phone like this, and then from there, you hover it over the POS machine that they have, and then from there, payment is made immediately. Now, the basis of how contactless pay works is by using NFC, which stands for Near Field Communication. This is where one device transfers data to another, provided that they're near each other. Now, let me just give you an example of NFC so you guys can easily understand it better. Let's assume that you want to go to a hotel and you want to book a hotel room. What happens is that once you make payment, they give you your key card that you use. So now, when you go to your hotel door, you just scan the card against the door like this, and from there the door opens. That is NFC essentially. Or let me try to give you another example. You know, like Apple AirDrop, where now that your friend will take a picture on their phone and you want to essentially transfer that picture to your phone. Now, obviously, AirDrop works when you're next to that person's iPhone. And when you're next to that person's iPhone, it will see you, and then from there, you can easily get the picture transferred to your phone, if you get what I mean. And finally, one other example that I could also give you is Zender. Now, Zender is not NFC per se, but the concept is still there. It's still similar. Like, you know, when you want to send a movie to your friend using Zender. Now, as long as you're near that person's phone, that movie will get transferred to their phone, if you get what I mean. Now, even though I've explained the concept of NFC to you and everything, do you know that there are actually contactless pay solutions in Nigeria, but many of you don't even know about it? Like, for example, our ATM cards in Nigeria actually have contactless pay capabilities, but however, we don't make use of them at all. Even some of our POS machines actually have them. Like, for example, one time I was going to a filling station to put fuel inside the car that we drive, and I wanted to make payment, so I used my card to make payment. And there was this POS that the attendant brought out, which was a money point POS. Now, this POS had the contactless pay feature in it, but however, it wasn't used at all to make the payment. Instead, it had where you slot in the card, and then from there, you make your payment like that. Funny enough, even our ATM machines in Nigeria actually have contactless pay, but we don't use it at all, funny enough. And it is just so crazy because, like, when it comes to Nigeria, we don't even know about we don't even know about NFC at all, honestly speaking, even though I just explained it. Like, I remember I watched this video on TikTok where now that someone was talking about NFC, and somebody commented that, oh, I have a laptop, it has NFC, I don't even know what it is, I don't even know how to use it. And it was crazy. I was like shocked and everything, like, to be very honest with you. But honestly, I can't really blame this person 100% because we do not fully adopt these things at all in Nigeria. In fact, in Nigeria, we even have some platforms that are dedicated to contactless pay, but they're not massively adopted by Nigerians at all. And I decided, hey, let me also talk about them in this video briefly, like the 4 that I know of currently. Now, the first platform that I know that has this feature is one called Carla, where it works like this. So let's assume that this is a phone here and this is another phone. Essentially, how it works is like this. So essentially, 2 of the phones must have Carla built in, and from there, as long as they're near each other, money can be transferred from here to there. That's how it works. The second platform I want to talk about is one called Cash Africa, where essentially how it works is like this. So they have POS machines, and then you just need to put your card on top of it like this, not to slide it inside of the machine, and then from there, contactless pay can happen. The third platform is also one called Software. So Software essentially is like this. So you have a phone that is essentially NFC enabled like this, and then from there, you place your card on top of the phone, and from there, a transaction can be made. And finally, we have this one called Swipe, which is similar to Cash Africa I just talked about, where if you have your card, you just put it on top of the POS, and then from there, payment is made as well. Now, the main reason why these platforms have not caught on in Nigeria is because there's a low turnover of, these things being used, and the fact that people don't know about them. In fact, there are even some platforms that you guys even know that actually try to do this contactless pay thing, but I'm not sure that they're doing it anymore. For example, GT World. Now, if you're a GT Bank user, essentially GT World had this feature where now that you're near someone who uses GT Bank and they also have the GT World app installed and everything, you can send money to them as long as you're near that person. You can send money without them having to give you their account details at all. I'm not sure if anyone uses this feature at all, honestly speaking. Another platform that also tries to do this thing is PalmPay, where they made these NFC enabled cards. Like, they're like debit cards, but they don't have that golden pin thing that you can use to use it with any POS and everything. They only works with PalmPay machines, where now that if you go to a PalmPay machine, you just put it like this, and then from there you can make any transaction. That thing failed because we don't see them anymore. Instead, PalmPay, they give you the regular debit cards like any other bank would. And at the same time, we already have giants like MoneyPoint, PalmPay, OPay that are taking over the digital space in Nigeria. These people have Nigerians on a chokehold, and they know what works in Nigeria. So they will continue to give you what works. Unless everybody in Nigeria demands for contactless pay, they're not going to give it to you anytime soon, realistically speaking. Now, I remembered earlier where I talked about how contactless pay works, like all this Google Pay, Apple Pay, and so on. Now, as I said, the basis of how it works is by using NFC. Now, many smartphones in Nigeria do not have NFC built in. Now, look at this list here. These are the top selling phones in Nigeria that have the most market share. Number one, as you can see, is Transient Holdings, which are itel, Techno, Infinix, like those types of smartphones. Now, I want you to get any of these smartphones and look at the specs and see if NFC is included, or go into your settings and look for the NFC feature if they have it, because they don't have any of these things, because they know that the Nigerian market, they don't use it at all. And even if they should put NFC in their phones, it will only be like to the high-end stuff, like things that are a bit more expensive that Nigerians, not everybody might buy. But being realistic, now some of you may say that my Samsung has NFC, my iPhone has it, my Google Pixel has it, my phones, everything have it. Yes, they may have NFC in it, but let's be real, do you use the NFC in your phone? In fact, many users of these smartphones that do have NFC in Nigeria don't even know what NFC is. They don't even know it. They don't even use it at all, honestly speaking. In fact, I have an 11 Pro Max right here. Ever since I've had this phone, I've never used the NFC capabilities. In fact, I even have this Google Pixel phone right here. It has NFC as well, but I've never used the capabilities at all because in Nigeria, there's no use for this at all, honestly speaking. Now, here is my advice for anybody who wants to introduce contactless pay in Nigeria, like if you're a startup or something. Now, introducing contactless pay right now in Nigeria means that you're being ahead of your time. And if you're too ahead of your time, people are not going to use your stuff, honestly speaking. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I might be right, I might be wrong, I don't know. But what I can just tell you is this. If you do want to introduce this thing, I would advise you start with, making it like a normal banking app and everything, like OPay, MoneyPoint, and so on. And, get users and everything to be inside of it. And, they'll be using it like a normal bank app or whatever. Then when your stuff gets popular and everything, you can now introduce it. And if you do want to introduce this stuff, make sure that you market it heavily. Try to give people reasons why they should use this contactless pay thing. If you should work with, POS agents, influencers, or something like that, try to convince people like why they should switch from Money Point or something to your service. Like, give people good reasons. And if you give people good reasons, if you try to, show how unique this thing is, try to show that it's something that is actually good and everything. Like, the more you market it, I believe that more people would actually want to use it, honestly speaking. I would even say that if possible, if you wanted to try and convince people to use this type of thing, what you could actually try to do is this. Like, for example, here's what a brand like Red Bull did to get people into their product and everything. Now, when Red Bull started, what they did was that they went to trash cans and dropped empty cans of Red Bull in the trash, so that when people saw the trash, they would say, oh, people are drinking Red Bull. And from there, people were buying Red Bull and doing it, and it was effective. Now, you could do the same thing in the sense that now, maybe because it's open in a supermarket, and then everybody would be like people who you might know or whatever, and they're using this contactless pay thing in the supermarket or something. And then when people are using it, they'll be like, oh my God, this is actually something that's being used and everything. And then from there, more people want to use it themselves because they're seeing people using it and all that type of stuff, and it encourages more people to use it. Like, try start with all the small supermarkets, and from there, you can start going bigger and stuff, if you get what I mean. By doing this type of thing, you're already putting yourself out there. Maybe you go to all these POS agents and everything, tell them, oh, use this our POS. From there, you get people to be doing as if they're using that type of thing, making it to look like, actually real, that people are actually using it. And from there, you get more actual users, if you get what I mean. So yes, as I said, in as much as contactless pay is a good thing, these are my reasons why I believe that we're not ready yet. And if you're sort of trying to listen to my advice, and maybe things may actually go well for you and all that. So yeah, that is all for today's video. If you have any questions about this or anything you want to contribute to this topic, please comment below. And like, comment, share, subscribe, and I hope I see you guys next time.